Face it, your putting stinks. What separates us mere mortals from the pros is putting. Your 3-putts are killing you, and you buy the best putter you can to combat your issues. Today, we're going to dive into the science of putters and why Scotty Cameron may not be the best putter for you. I'm Matt, and this is the Bogey Depot, a podcast for golf addicts. Scotty Cameron, the best putters ever. Used by Tiger, JT, Nelly Korda, Max Homa, just to name a few. Legendary putters played by legendary golfers. Some of the highest quality putters you can buy. Superb craftsmanship, made in America, just the perfect weapon for the green. Scotty uses top-of-the-line materials and crafts their pieces of artwork. They just look, feel, and exude quality. There's nothing that can compare to holding a Scotty Cameron putter in your hand. They have tour-proven designs. The Newport 2, played by Tiger himself. The Phantom 5.5, played by Homa and Justin Thomas. And there's the new series of putters, the Pluses, the Newport Plus, the Newport 2 Plus, the Squarebacks. All of those putters have designs that are used all over the tour. Those putters are used all over the tours. Now, one thing about a Scotty Cameron, especially the new ones with that double milling on the face, are they're so freaking they are so soft feeling. They feel like the kiss of an angel when your putter meets that Pro V1. It's hard to describe. I've actually heard a couple people say that it's almost too soft. You can't tell where you're hitting the ball on the head. I don't really have that problem. I can tell if I toe or I heel one. But it's just a great feeling. Something that is really hard to describe. Oh, very different than another putter. Even Ping, who has a great feel, it feels different. It's just a feeling of a really well-built putter. They have a great selection. They have the blades, the Newport 2, mid-mallets of the Squareback, the Go Low. They have mallets, the Phantom 5, the Phantom 7, the fang-looking one, the Phantom 9, the full-bodied mallet. Scotty Cameron putters have a mystique unlike any other. There's just something about a Scotty that makes everybody want one. Why? Why does everybody want one? Is it the craftsmanship? Is it because they grew up watching Tiger play or heard about Tiger playing one? What is the reason everybody wants a Scotty Cameron? One thing it is not is the science. There's not a lot of science behind a Scotty Cameron putter. Scotty will even explain in his short 1.5-minute videos on each putter model that he felt like it needed to look like this, or it was more pleasantly, it was more pleasantly appealing to the eye to have the lines do this, or to have that happen, or to change this. It's an artistic expression. Scotty himself will tell you it's just an expression of his art. He likes the way this looks, or think it's more eye-pleasing if this bend happens, or if the head's shaped this way. Scotty Camerons are an artistic expression of Scotty Cameron himself. They are not filled with science. And what's odd is golf is filled with science right now. We have all these stats that we look at. Club and ball speed, launch angle, spin rate, smash factor. What about putting? What do we look at in putting? We look at almost nothing in putting. If you get a fitting, you'll see some stats here and there, but it's not something we rely on every day. But along comes L.A.B Golf and their lie angle balance technology. Keep the face square. That's what they're all about. That's what lie angle balance is. Lie angle balance says no matter how you take the putter back, the head of the putter will stay square to the ball at impact. They do this through this neat little contraption that's like this rectangular thing that has a thing to hang the club at the top and non-friction at the bottom, and they swing it back and forth, and the head doesn't move. It just stays straight the whole time. It stays straight to the target. It's a very impressive thing. I highly suggest you take a look at it online. You can go to L.A.B's website or their Instagram or YouTube and see that. The thought process behind it is whether you have a straight back, straight through swing, a slight arc, or a very accentuated arc in your putting stroke, the face will try to stay square to the ball. Even with a face balanced putter, you're fighting gravity. Your body wants to turn inside and out. It doesn't want to go straight back and straight through. Your arms don't go back that way. Physiologically, that's very hard. The slight arc, you're dealing with the toe, making sure it's closed at the exact point of impact. Or the heavy arc, the same thing. Even harder to make sure that toe is closed, square to the target, right at the instant of impact. With the lie angle balance, you don't have to do that. The putter does it for you. You're not fighting the forces of the putter. It's very interesting. They have 3 models currently. They have the Mez, which looks like a sideways M, or like a really fancy looking E. It's small, compact little mallet. Not super small, but it's a compact mallet. They have a DF3, which is the little brother to the DF2, which was the giant spaceship looking thing that looked like it couldn't even fit in a shoebox. It was so big. The DF3, they've slimmed down. It's a really good looking putter. It actually looks a lot bigger than it is if you put it beside other putters. For a funky shaped putter, it's really not bad looking at all. And then they have the Link 1. The Link 1 is a blade putter that is significantly different than other blades because of this lie angle technology. It has the same general shape. The shaft kind of meets at a different point. And due to the way they balance these putters for the lie angle balancing, they have some weights on the kind of on the top sides. And it's just a little different than a typical blade putter. So I had a L.A.B. I had a L.A.B early in the year, right when the DF3s came out. I ordered a DF3 in, I believe, 37 or 38 inches as a counterbalanced. And I liked it and I didn't like it. I ended up selling it. And there was 2 reasons I sold it. One, I couldn't lag putt with it. I was really struggling with distance. I always felt like the ball was like 2 inches in front of my hands. And in a L.A.B putter, the shaft goes in pretty much so the middle of the putter, not up by the face. Even most of the putters we use nowadays, there's an offset where the head actually sits behind the shaft. And the L.A.B felt really weird for me. Why it felt really weird for me was I didn't use the grip that they came with, because when you buy a counterbalance putter, the long one, they can't use the grip that they have, and they call it a press grip. And the press grip, basically, the shaft is inserted into the grip kind of sideways, and it allows your hands to be a little more forward, and it kind of gets rid of some of that onset of where the putter face is in front of your hands. And I think that might have helped me a little bit in not having that feeling that I was hitting the ball so far out in front. It would have moved my hand slightly forward and allowed me to feel a little bit more comfortable. So that's on me. There's some other lie balance putters out on the market now, and some that are coming. Lie balance, zero torque, whatever you want to call those kind of putters. Evenroll has one out. It's called the Zero Series. They have a funky spaceship looking X thing. It's funky looking. It's even more funky than the L.A.Bs. They're coming out with 2 new ones. They look more like traditional putters. I'm very excited to see them. They have almost a backwards plumber's neck, which should be interesting. Again, they have to make it so the center of gravity is towards the most mass, which is in the middle of the club. PXG has a new one out called the Allen. It's a really good looking putter. Actually, it has a funky S-shaped shaft bend in it, but it looks like a regular mallet head. It has some funky PSG type technology inside with their epoxy filled hollow headed stuff, but it looks pretty interesting. And I saw on a website a picture from it. Looked like one of the tour practice putting greens. There was a lie balance, zero torque Odyssey jailbird, which was pretty interesting. So we'll see if that ends up coming to market in 2025. It's time we get some science in putting. We have so much science in golf. We talk and you look at guys like Bryson. Everything about Bryson and his swing and his thought process is based on somewhere in science. And we have very little of that in putting. We have that everywhere else. And I don't understand why we don't have it in putting. But there's this thought process. Does science outweigh art? Or does the art of putting outweigh science? You could say putting is definitely an art. There's definitely a rhythmic flow to it. And the artistic expression of the putter is just an extension of that. Or you could say, let's take out all the variables and let's do what we can to make it as easy as possible to putt with science. And that's what these lie angle balanced or zero torque putters are doing. Will this be a fad? Is it a fad like the jailbird was? The jailbird putter with the counterbalancing that I bit heavy into and really enjoyed for a while, that counterbalancing. Even bought a L.A.B that was counterbalanced, which in second thought was probably not the smartest thing in the world. But that fad has kind of come and gone. And now we're seeing some variations of it. You're seeing some of the longer grips on a standard length putter, or a putter that might only be an inch or two longer that has a 15-inch or 17-inch grip on it, to add a little bit of weight up top, but not in the same aspect of the Ricky Fowler jailbird that had the weight on the bottom and the weight at the top and was just completely counterbalanced. It'll be interesting. It'll be interesting to watch. It'll be interesting to see if the scientific-based putters overtake the champ, right? The Scotty Cameron champ. And for all you Scotty diehards out there, I also saw a picture of a zero torque lie balanced Scotty Cameron prototype 2 on one of those websites. So it'll be interesting if Scotty gets in that game. That doesn't seem like a Scotty Cameron game to me, but you never know. This is Matt. Thanks for listening. If you could hit the subscribe button, I'd appreciate it. Hit him straight.